I had just finished brewing a pot of coffee when I heard the furious pounding on my cabin door. It was early morning, mist still rolling off the lake, and I was expecting a quiet day. Instead, HOA Karen stormed in like she owned the place, waving a clipboard and shouting about unauthorized occupancy. Her face was red with self-importance as she declared, "This cabin is under HOA jurisdiction, and you have no right to be here." She hadn't even noticed the man calmly seated at my dining table, the very reason I had invited him up that morning. Karen marched straight past me, poking her nose into the living room, ranting about violations and fees. I tried to speak, but she cut me off, threatening me with eviction and fines. That's when a deep voice interrupted her tirade. "Excuse me, ma'am," the man said, rising slowly to his feet. Karen turned, clearly irritated someone had dared interrupt her performance, and then she froze. Standing before her was none other than the state attorney general, sleeves rolled up, coffee in hand, looking at her with a mixture of disbelief and irritation. Karen's jaw dropped. You can't just," she stammered, but her bravado was crumbling. The attorney general wasn't amused. "You burst into a private residence without permission, made threats, and attempted to enforce authority you don't legally have. That, ma'am, is trespassing and harassment." Karen's clipboard slipped slightly in her hand as she tried to gather herself, muttering excuses about community rules and just doing her duty. But the attorney general wasn't buying it. He gestured toward the documents spread across my table, legal agreements and case files we've been reviewing about corrupt HOAs across the state. The irony hit her too late. She had just barged into the one cabin where her antics would be witnessed by the highest legal authority in the state. The attorney general calmly pulled out his phone and made a call. "I'm sending an officer your way," he said flatly. "We've got a situation." Karen went pale, sputtering apologies, but it was too late. Minutes later, a patrol car pulled up outside, and she was escorted off the property, still whining that she didn't know who she was dealing with. As the dust settled, the attorney general shook his head. "This is exactly the kind of abuse we're cracking down on." I nodded, grateful for the timing. Karen had thought she was about to humiliate me, but instead she had exposed herself in front of the very man who could dismantle her entire HOA's crooked empire.